75th edition of the Lidl Tour of Austria 2026, and with that, welcome to another impressive 5 days long stage race coming up around Austria through the most beautiful parts of Austria. And I'm also more than happy to have you again by my side, Amelie Cooper, to give us those precious insights straight out of Pro Cycling Live into commentary and into lighting us up a little bit more with all those informations. It is the first stage, Amelie, and so far we've seen an impressive one already.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction, Lukas. Now I'm looking forward to commentating this little Tour of Austria. First day today, and the riders have already had quite a long ride ahead of them, or they've already completed a lot of the course already. But I think we're gonna get ready for a good final today.
Here we are able to witness some pictures from also yesterday's team presentation in Graz, and for sure stage one from Graz to Gamlitz, 188k and 2,714 meters in elevation gain here for the athletes. Here we have pretty interesting and an outstandingly strong competitive field here at the Tour of Austria. Here the team presentation from yesterday. Current national champion Michi Gogl for Alpecin Premier Tech, trying to secure some good points and good positions for the GC. Then Lidl Trek also incredibly strong. Patrick Conrad is here, Lena Kemna. Then the Norwegians are always providing good energy at the team presentation. So I would like to say everything is well prepared for an incredible 75th edition here in Austria.
Yeah, and we've got some really good teams on the start this year, as you mentioned. We've got 6 World Tour teams, but it's also very interesting that you've got 6 World Tour teams racing against the continental teams, which are obviously all trying to prove themselves.
That are the pictures from today, from a few minutes ahead of the start, where everything was set it up perfectly fine. And we've seen also some rain here in Graz. Christensen, the bike of Christensen, one of the top contenders for the GC here at the Tour of Austria. Then we have Bernhard Eisel, Director Sportif of Lidl Trek, racing on home turf for his team. And also, you mentioned it before, the strong continental teams with VSA, KTM, Graz, the Austrian teams. So the creme de la creme of not just the Austrian or German or continental athletes are here in Austria. Also the World Tour teams again brought an impressive rooster to the Tour of Austria.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, Isaac Del Toro, who won the Tour of Austria last year, is now racing at the Tour de France, so they've sent their backup man with Jan Christen. But I think he's going to definitely be a hot favourite for this year's Lidl Tour of Austria.
And also, Mühlberger, one of the best Austrian, is competing at the Tour of Austria for the national team, and we also prepared an interview with him from today.
How are you feeling about not starting at the Tour de France?
Pretty hard feelings, actually. It was a mental blow, to be honest, but I'm super happy to be here and to be with the guys and finally start racing again.
Will this anger make you a little bit stronger? Give you the extra watts you need?
The anger is gone now. I mean, I did a super preparation with the guys in France, but yeah, at the end it was a decision from the big boss, and I accept it, and I have the freedom now to be here with the national team. So I try to do a good race here, and let's see. The form is good.
What will be your goal?
I really want to win the race.
You have good memories about the Tour of Austria?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's long ago. The last time was 2015, was not super nice, but in 2014 I became Glocknerkönig, so I focus on that and yeah, remember this for after tomorrow.
A bit heartbroken that he's not at the Tour de France, but he is ready to win that 5 days long stage race. And right now we have the visual of stage number 1. As I said, 188k, 760 meters in elevation gain, and some pretty nasty last ramps coming up for the athletes near Gamlitz, the finish area, and also through beautiful wine roads.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some interesting climbing. Today will be one for the punchy riders, I think. I mean, we'll get to what the race status is at the moment, but yeah, I think it will definitely be decided in that final loop after they come through the finish line for the first time, and they'll head on to the roughly 38k loop, and I think that will be the deciding point of today's race.
Also one near Kittek, the Sozialen, 115%, which means 48 degree, is among the steepest in Austria, and now we can enjoy some earlier today's Ricardo Zeudel in a chat with Michi Gogel, here race director of the Little Tour of Austria, and also straight on after the start we got an attack, and unfortunately also some mechanicals.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the first day of a stage race, so it's always a bit hectic in the field. Everybody wants to try and get into, or the teams who want to try and get into the breakaway want to make sure they're in it and they don't miss it. So yeah, it's always a bit of stress in the peloton for the first stage.
And pretty early on there was a breakaway with 4 riders, with 4 athletes from those strong continental teams. We have here Tobias Nolde from Team Vorarlberg in that breakaway. It was a bit rainy, it was a bit windy early on, but
I think the riders will be preferring this weather than the weather that's at the Tour de France at the moment, racing under 40 degrees heat. Or I know I would, at least.
yeah. So here we have some replays still with the first King of the Mountain classification going to Rinko Advarix.
Also great to see lots of people on the side of the road in Austria, although it's maybe a little bit drizzly out there. All the kids showing their support.
Yeah, the kids showing their support. It is the last school week here in Austria, so probably some of them use it as kind of a therapy for the teachers there to enjoy the Tour of Austria racing by. And we have them again. And also impressive, there was the chase group number 1, which we are able to witness right now. They were 10 minutes, the peloton were 10 minutes behind the breakaway, and the chase group number 1 had a gap, an impressive gap of 2 minutes and 50, and right now we are in the current live action with a familiar picture. When I'm allowed to say that, since last year we've seen it many times, that jersey in front of the peloton.
Yeah, I mean, we've got UAE and also Ineos up there, just keeping this break under control. As you mentioned before, they did have quite a big gap, and they're happy to let the break go out quite far, because it is only a 4-man break, and they know the right, or they can look up who's in the break, and they'll be like, okay, they won't stress and let them have 10 minutes, but as we come towards the end of the stage, then they will want to keep them on a shorter leash at least.
So Bettendorf, Brenner, Nolde, Glossner are those four in the breakaway, and that for quite a long time already. As we mentioned before, 10 minutes gap pretty soon on start of the race, and now the gap is between 6 to 4 minutes. So the peloton is working strong again, and as you also mentioned before, Jan Christensen, UAE sent an absolute top contender here for the GC, and maybe they're right now trying to bring those athletes into the right position then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the World Tour teams will be looking at this stage today, and it's definitely a good one. Maybe not for a GC rider. They won't probably gain any time today. They could obviously definitely lose time. But I think today is all about the stage win, and I'm sure all the World Tour teams will be interested in sending a rider up the road and try to win today's stage.
I was pretty fired up right from the start on for stage number 1. It is like we know that we have 2 mountain finishes coming up with tomorrow, and in stage number 3. When we look at the characteristic of the Tour of Austria this year, it's not that perfect playground for the sprinters then.
No, definitely, probably not one for the sprinters. Today is a really long stage, and we've got some quite punchy climbs at the end of the stage, with the last climb finished. The top of the last climb is 15k from the finish. So if a sprinter gets dropped on that climb, then I don't think they'll have enough time to get back to the group. And then obviously tomorrow's stage is also not one for the sprinters. That's definitely one for the GC riders and for the climbers. So the sprinters will have to wait a couple of days at least until they might be able to get a chance, but I don't think it will be a sprinter stage today.
Stage number 1, and those 4 athletes are working perfectly fine together. The cooperation is so far still looking good.
Yeah, the cooperation between, I mean, it's a perfect breakaway size with 4 riders, all from continental teams. They're all doing the same pool, and they've all got the same goal, just to try and not get caught too early.
6 minutes and 28, and we said it earlier, it takes the athletes through a scenic region. It is the South Styrian wine region with all of those 3 typical wine roads put together, but the thing that makes it pretty special is those hilly parts in it. They are kind of looking falls flat, but there are some punchy ones.
Yeah, if you look at the stage, it does look like it's relatively flat, but as soon as you then properly look at the profile of it, then there are lots of punchy climbs, and they do hurt, even though it might only be 50 meters of elevation. But if the peloton decides to go full gas over them, then they really do hurt.
So let's just take a look onto those 4 ahead, and for sure that one in the yellow jersey, he was that athlete renominated yesterday for the Tour of Austria. He wasn't in the rooster until yesterday, and he is right now in it, Tobias Nolde. And the funny thing, yesterday he won that dribbling contest at the team presentation. All of the athletes had to do, or one of each team had to do the dribbling contest, and he won that one. And also impressive right now, Schwingshandel Intralogistics is bringing all those athletes up front, Ineos and UAE, and behind that Team Vorarlberg.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got the 2 World Tour teams on the front with Ineos and UAE, but yeah, I mean, the Austrian Conti teams are up there. They've obviously missed a break along with Tyrol KTM, but I mean, it's the first day, and I'm sure they would have tried. But we've got the 4 strong riders ahead with 6 minutes 30 at the moment. So they will also won't want to catch the break too early, the peloton, because then that reopens the whole race for new attacks.
So Nolde up front. He is a climber. He's also ready for a stage hunt, and under 23 road cycling champion, third place, Tour de l'Avenir 2024. And since 2026 he is in the team Vorarlberg. Then from Rinkhoff at Varex with the bib number 61, Loic Pettendorf, 22 years young. Also here, Giro d'Italia Next Gen participant, Eschborn Frankfurt under 23, 12th place. And also his speciality is being a climber.
Okay, yeah. I mean, climbers, definitely tomorrow's stage is a climbing stage. We've got a mountaintop finish. So the GC riders will definitely grab a chance if they can today to get some time. But they will also be looking to try and maybe save a little bit of energy for tomorrow's stage, because tomorrow is definitely where you can make some good ground on the GC rankings.
And the next one from a team Benotti Berthold is Tim Glossner, mainly listed as a support rider, but right now in the breakaway in it since 2025 at Benotti. And UAE is right now bringing some speed into that peloton. 6:30 still the gap between the leaders and the peloton, 74k to go.
I mean, interesting that Jaco Alula and EF Education have pretty much or at the moment, they're leaving the chase to UAE and Ineos, because, I mean, Nielsen Paulus, he's come back from a long injury. I think he's come back first race now since his knee injury. But, I mean, he could definitely be a contender for today's stage. Or also Paul Double from the Jaco Alula team.
Today, I guess everything is still open. And when we keep looking at the rooster, who are your favorites, Amelie?
I mean, I really struggle on today's stage, I have to say. I think, if I'm completely honest, I don't think this breakaway will make it all the way to the finish. I mean, it would be incredible. It would be incredible to watch if this four-man breakaway would make it. But I think there are two scenarios in my head. There's a climb that ends with 15k to go before the finish. So if somebody's strong enough to go solo on that climb, it's around 250 meters of elevation, and it definitely kicks up at the end. So there's a chance there for somebody to break away and go solo to the finish. But I'm kind of tipping on a reduced a reduced group sprint. I'm struggling actually to tip on somebody. I think Jan Christen could still be a favourite for today's stage, along with Paul Double and from the Austrians, Gregor Mühlberger, for me. What about you?
I mean, there's Antonio Morgado in the lineup, also known as a pretty strong climber. Then we have Andreas Baglioli by Lidl Trek.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could definitely be dangerous if it comes to a reduced bunch sprint.
Carlos Rodriguez, Net Company, Ineos.
Yep.
And also, still go also with Gregor Mühlberger, but Lennart Kemner could also be one to have an eye on, even though he was a little bit sick the days before starting of the Tour of Austria. But yeah, he's an ultimate breakaway specialist. but still, as you said, 15k ahead of the finish. We have those nasty climb up to Glanz, it's called, and then afterwards we will see how everything will be new sorted or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting profile today. It's a typical one where one could maybe say a breakaway could make it, but I think all the World Tour teams, they've decided not to go into the break today, and they're going to want to win the stage.
Don't you think it is mainly like a little game by all those World Tour teams to let the CT teams be more in the focus? But if we still remember last year's Tour of Austria, CT teams, all those continental teams were incredibly strong with taking home or battling for the mountain classification, and also in the overall GC, they were still everywhere to find.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, this is also a great platform for these continental riders to show their strengths and, to see what they can do. And also for the Austrian continental teams, it's just incredibly amazing or cool for them to be riding in the breakaway, showing off their home colours on home roads. They don't get that many chances. They're quite often racing abroad, somewhere in Europe, maybe internationally, outside of Europe as well. To be racing on home roads, it's really special for them.
Yannis Peter, 2025 in 9th position, just 3 minutes gap to Isaac Del Toro, and we look from stage to stage. We always have seen the World Tour teams in that top 10, and one name is always in it: Andrew August.
Yeah, true.
Remember that stage up to the Geisberg last year? That was incredible one, and also one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, another rider from Net Company, Ineos. So that's obviously, I mean, they've come here with a very strong roster with Carlos Rodriguez and Andrew August. Probably also the reason why they're on the front of the peloton, because they've set this first stage as their goal to win.
We have Bob Jungels, last year's incredible stage win, the last stage win with a 40k solo breakaway. Then you said it, Pete Oxenberg Hansen, Sam Watson, some pretty big and strong names are at those World Tour teams, but also we do have an Austrian national team, and in it we've seen it before. Gregor Mühlberger at the interview is a bit heartbroken to not, or who is not able to compete at the Tour de France, and he was the youngest Glockner King in 2014. Okay. And tomorrow we're going up there again, so maybe that is probably a sign for him to be back when the Tour of Austria is also back on the Glockner. And also in that national Austrian team we have Alexander Hayek, Valentin Hofer, Rainer Kerplinger, Sebastian Putz, and also Paul Wemniak. He was last year's at the Lidl Trek Future team, and this year at the Austrian team again.
Yeah, I think back to Gregor Mühlberger, he obviously showed his incredible form that he had at the Giro d'Italia this year, helping Felix Gall. I mean, some of the riding that he was doing was really incredible, and he could also and he's also shown that he's a really good climber. So I think the Austrian team will probably be riding for Gregor Mühlberger to try and get him up there in GC.
So as while we are talking, the gap is closing more and more, 5 minutes and 52, and in average you can close a minute in 10k. You told me that last year.
Yeah, I think the peloton will be happy if they could go through the finish line the first time with the 2 minutes gap to the breakaway, because I mean, you've just got that firepower behind. They're all just waiting, saving their energy, and these four out front are riding quite hard just to stay out there. And although you've always got a short respite in the draft, you're still just on the pedals the whole day. and it just makes such a big difference if there's a group of 4 of you or if you're on a big peloton with over 100 riders.
But even though we're seeing that right now, just to compare it with the profile, for those 4 athletes, there are not a lot of section in it to get a little bit of breath back. It is still always up and down, and here we have the next King of the Mountain, Kreuzeck, with, as you can see, 90.3%, and in average we have 4.8% up there. So still another punchy, but not too steep, I would say.
Yeah, I mean the last climb is definitely way more punchy. It goes up to 21.8%, and sometimes, out of experience, if it says 21.8%, it feels like 30% at the end of this type of stage. So the last climb will definitely be very interesting. This one's a 2.9 kilometer climb with 200 meters elevation gain and averaging 6.8%. So the peloton again here will just have way more draft advantage, going up a 7% climb because they'll be climbing up, going 25 kilometers an hour. And these 4 out front will, just haven't got that big group advantage.
It is a category 2 King of the Mountain classification, and also we had already those sprint classification in Voitsberg, and one was in St. Johann Sagautal. Now we are at Kreuzeck. And then another sprint is coming up, another bonus is coming up, and for sure that finish up to Gamlitz.
Yeah, so after the top of this climb, we've still got some rolling hills, so it's not just a 20k flat run into the final loop. Even though it's not a classified climb, there are still some meters of climbing that they have to do. So it's not going to be an easy ride for the break.
And this year is new. We have the 75 classification 75. It is a special one in memory of the late Wolfgang Steinmeier, who sadly passed away earlier that year in May. So this year we have that special bonus classification in it, which is rewarded with the orange jersey then. So in total 6 different jerseys are out to catch, and for sure that most precious one will be that GC overall jersey, which we are able to see then tomorrow who is having that one on his shoulders.
Yeah, also these Conti teams, I mean, if they could get a trip to the podium to pick up a jersey, it's always something really special. So maybe they will be aiming for this bonus sprint. They've obviously all been fighting out for the com points and the sprint points because, I mean, it's just something special to ride in a stage race in a leader's jersey.
And also we have the orange bib then from tomorrow on. It's or the red bib. It is that bib for the most active rider, not rewarded with a jersey, but visual able to see in the peloton. So probably one out of those 4 will be rewarded or not.
I'm guessing it'll be one out of these 4. Maybe one of them will decide to go on a little late attack when the gap really starts rattling down. So maybe the one who stays out longest will be able to wear that special bib tomorrow.
But the body language of those 4 breakaways still looking pretty fine.
No, it's looking good, and they're still working well together, so yeah. And they're just getting the board shown to them there, because sometimes it's always a bit chaotic in a race and you're not always sure how far the peloton really is behind you. So it's just nice to have the motorbikes writing on the chalkboard and just giving you a quick time gap update.
4 minutes 27. The last, I guess 10K it was, where the peloton was able to, ride in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and we're also seeing some more teams getting interested here.
Jaco Elula
Yeah.
up front. Then the UAE train again with Kristen in the Swiss National Championship jersey on the back wheel of his fellow teammates, or his, as we're able to say, domestiques then.
Yeah, and you just saw the whole UAE team and Jaco Lula and Ineos Net Company. They're just bringing all the riders up front now, so it's no longer just one rider from UAE and one rider from Ineos. They're really bringing the whole team up to get themselves in position for this climb.
Also, EF Education is lined up. So now the World Tour teams are taking over mainly that leading work at or in the peloton. Oh, here we have that attack of 2 for that com, and it is Tobias Nolde, same picture than we had before. Rinko Advarix and Team Vorarlberg are battling each other and again shaking hands.
They're obviously also friends off the bike, and it's always nice to race with other Austrians or other mates that you normally race with, and to be in the breakaway with them. You know, they're all friends. Those four have to be friends today to try and get as far up the road as possible.
Maybe they use that momentum right now to get a little of a gap between the other two. And here in the replay again, the attack by Tobias Nolde.
I think it would maybe be a little bit too early for them two to try and break away from the other two from the breakaway. So I think they will be, they're sitting up here now and waiting for the other two to regain, so they can try and keep the peloton at bay.
2 hours and 48 in the race, and already tons of meters of elevation gain in their legs. And now they're back.
So here we can see them also coming through the feed zone, which is important, especially on a stage race. First day, you need to make sure you're keeping your glycogen stores up. So everyone who needs something will be going over to the right. As we can see, Ineos just kind of spreading along across the front of the peloton here at the moment.
So UAE in the middle, Ineos and Jaco Lula, and one of Team Lidl Trek. And another 25 seconds are gone.
Yeah, when the peloton wants to close this gap, they can. I mean, they've already decided that they want to start closing it a little bit, because when we first started the stream, they had, I think, a bit over 6 minutes. So we're already under 5 minutes now, and they'll just slowly start eating back at this gap.
Still having some time to probably enjoy that scenic wine roads there, or maybe the vineyards.
I'm not quite sure how much these front four riders will be enjoying the view. I think they'll be suffering a bit, but maybe the riders in the peloton. But I think the peloton's also going to ride a hard pace up this climb, because we are slowly, I mean, last 60k of the race. It's a very long stage today, but now the race slowly properly starts.
But they're still fighting to keep that gap open.
Well, at least the weather's sunny now.
Weather is sunny now. We had rain and wind.
And it's a bit of an overcast day, which is actually quite, or it's almost a perfect race weather. When it's a little bit sunny, but not scorching hot, and yeah, looks good.
Still having 20 plus degrees. A little bit of wind from northeast there. But as you said, still perfectly fine weather conditions. Been through Kitzek. It is one of the highest wine-growing villages in southern Styria. More than 500 meters above sea level. And still, if you think about Styria, you probably think about some more flat parts in it, but that course brings the athletes right into those hilly parts of Styria.
Yeah, there are some really nice rolling hills around there, but they've managed to find a couple that do get quite steep, but it only makes it better for us for watching. I'm really looking forward to that final climb with around 15k to go to the finish, because I think it will just explode on that climb.
The stage was planned by Thomas Bichler, Joachim Ruri, Susanne Haubenhofer, then also Rupert Hödelmoser organizing chief, and by the race director himself, Stefan Armelini. Graz was the start city, and after 2017 it is again the first time hosting the now called, since 2023, the Tour of Austria. It was before the Österreich-Rundfahrt, and now it is, since 2026, the Lidl Tour of Austria. And again, providing impressive pictures.
Yeah, I mean, lovely scenery around this area of Austria, and good that we can show it on a nice day.
We've been at the Ligist, we've been at the Schilcher Wine Road, and now we are in the South Styrian Wine Road. So all of those three typical wine roads, and for those Styria is famous, are part in that first stage. 130 athletes were in the Rooster, and in total, Amelie, we have 844.8k and more than 11,000 meters in elevation gain at the end of stage 5 in Vienna then.
Yeah, that's some decent kilometers if you think about it. It's only 5 days of racing. But I mean, these riders are used to it. Look at Gregor Mühlberger. He's just come from the Giro d'Italia, where it's got 21 race days with only 2 rest days. But it's going to be a tough ask for some of these country riders, especially for the young ones. they haven't necessarily got the big race experience where they've got kilometers of, like hundreds of kilometers of racing in their legs. But definitely a cool race to be doing for them.
As I said, for the young riders, a pretty young team is that Tirol KTM cycling team with Nicolas Ginter, Paul Viehböck, Jonas Holzknecht, Levi Winter, Samuel Novak, Felix Rützler. So we have some
the Tirol
decent
team
future stars
is
coming
an
up.
under 23 team based here in Tirol. And I mean, they've definitely got some good tactics. They had an interview this morning with Jonas Holzknecht, and I think they said they were aiming for the first, or generally aiming for all the stages to try and get into a breakaway, see what they can do, especially the first 3 days, I think he mentioned. And I think maybe tomorrow's stage could definitely, I mean, Jonas Holzknecht did incredibly well on the Ötztaler Radmarathon here last year. So he definitely shown that he's a climber. And yeah, I mean, just a great experience for them.
Austrian national team also lined up in front of the peloton right now.
Yeah, I think that was Sebastian Putz on the front there setting the pace, so he's obviously got the helping duty today, and on his wheel was Gregor Mühlberger, just giving him some directions, trying to help the younger generation with his experience.
We are right now coming towards that classification 75 then. We're in a bit of a flatter part with a little downhill before we start with those, as you said before, punchy and hurtful climbs up.
Yeah, so they've got 130, or they've ridden 130k so far, these riders, and they've got a little bit of respite, around 5 kilometers. It's flat, and then we've got 3 small kickers, and then we're gonna pass the finish line, and then we're on the loop around to get back to the finish then.
Nutrition, a huge point after, as I said, 130k already in the legs.
And they've averaged 44.5 kilometers an hour, so they're definitely not hanging around here.
I wouldn't say so.
So the distance between the breakaway and the peloton is around 1.6k. So I mean, they've still got a bit of a gap, but we have still got 56 kilometers to go. And I think it was 10k ago they had over 5 minutes. So yeah, I think 2 minutes at the finish line the first time round. I think that's what I'm guessing on.
Okay, so
Breakaway.
we take a little note about that, and yeah, then circle back with we have that correct time then by you guessing that 2 minutes while passing the finish area for the first time then. So beautiful aerial pictures also from that still close together peloton. And we are scratching the 3 hours mark. Still 4 minutes and 31 seconds of a gap through all those beautiful vineyards. As you can see here, it's probably now time for them to hammer a bit down.
Yeah, I mean, they're still working really well together, so And they've obviously got the luxury that the team car can come up right next to them, and all they have to do is put their hand up and the team car will be there within 30 seconds. In the peloton, I mean, you've obviously got your whole team there, so one rider will be going back into the convoy and picking up the bottles, but that obviously all just takes longer, more effort, so this is obviously nice for the breakaway riders to at least have that their team car can come up right next to them.
But there is a rule in it, where the team cars are not allowed to go between the breakaway and the peloton. I guess 2 minutes, or
yeah. I mean, so if there's a breakaway establishing, then they wait around a minute until the cars can go up the road. The neutral service car normally goes up when it's around a minute, and then as soon as they see that the gap's getting bigger, then the team cars are allowed to go up to the breakaway. And in this case, they will, if they see that the gap is coming down extremely quickly and they're at a minute 40, say, then they'll start pulling the team cars out, and yeah, then the riders are on their own. But the team car's still behind them, so in case they have a mechanical, then they'll be able to get a spare bike or a change of wheels, but the race is, or they won't be at the front of the race anymore.
now all those remaining 126 riders in the peloton are stretched out a bit.
Yeah, always on these fast descents, the peloton gets stretched out. That's probably also why we saw, it's why we saw the big teams coming up with all their riders, just so they're all at the front and there's no risk of crashing, or, I mean, there's always a risk, but it's reduced.
Many spectators along that stage number 1. As we've seen earlier, also some young athletes are trying to race. Those big riders and on the bicycle path.
Yeah.
And here we have them going through another lovely village then. And UAE in front.
Tobias Nolde at the front of the race. He also raced in the Tour of Alps this year, and he was also in a breakaway on the first stage for 108 kilometers.
For 108.
108 kilometers, yes. So he obviously likes going into breakaways. And then a couple of weeks later, he won the Kirchblüten race, the national race in Austria. So
maybe got some wings there.
yeah.
For the Tour of Austria.
Also, Maura Brenner likes going into breakaways, and the GP Gippingen, he was in a breakaway for 117 kilometers. So we've got 2 pro breakaway riders out there.
2 breakaway specialists for 100 and plus K in the breakaway already.
And they've still got 52 kilometers to go with almost 1,000 meters of climbing, so there's definitely still a lot to come. Although maybe it doesn't look like that on the profile, and there's only one categorized climb left, but yeah, there's still a lot of climbing, or enough punchy climbing that will hurt the legs.
Incredibly high tempo by those 4 athletes up front. Oh, Jake Lula is lined up.
Yeah, also the whole Ineos team is up there now. Before it was Schwingshandel on the wheel of the UAE and Ineos riders, but now they've decided they want to keep their riders protected and keep them at the front of the race.
Lidl Trek also is lined up. And there's always one from UAE
Yeah.
leading that train.
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously come here with big ambitions with Jan, Christen. I mean, maybe also other riders from the team. They would like to give somebody else a chance for a stage. You never know.
Antonio Morgado also second big GC card of UAE.
They're playing the double card like Red Bull Hansgrohe at the moment at the Tour de France with Remco Evenepoel and Lipovic Florian.
Some teams are playing that double card here, or maybe triple card, because Igo Arieta.
Yeah. I think they've just come here with an incredibly strong team. UAE, also Ineos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see how Nielsen Pahla's going to do, how he's going to get on after having a bit of a break out of racing due to an injury. So yeah, we saw him yesterday smiling at the team presentation, so he looks like he was in a good form.
He said the roads are pretty fast here, and he is curious about that course settings. He is curious about, for sure, the other competitors in the field, but having top 10 stage finishes of the Tour de France in 2024, and also being a consistent attacker for him, maybe the others should be curious about him then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting. I think EF Education have mainly come here with Nielsen Paulus, but then you got the other teams like UAE who are maybe going to try and juggle 3 GC riders. So it'll be interesting how it all plays out.
Lidl Trek for sure with 2 in it, Lennart Kemna and Andrea Baioli. There's still some dark horses then there. 2. Thibaut Del Grosso, Samuel Watson, Václav Ježek, Patrick Conrad, not counting to the dark horses, but counting to one of the top contenders there. Same like Gregor Mühlberger.
So the gap's now shown at 1:48. I'm struggling to believe that, because it was just over 4 minutes a couple of, I think like 4K ago.
Yeah. We have now 51 seconds. No, that's impossible for...
I think that's a bit impossible, yeah. So maybe just wait to see if we can see a motorbike sign, see what they're holding out.
.51. Amelie is jacking.
There we can see 4:35, I think the gap was said. Yeah, so we've got a small descent now, and then we've got the kick up to the group tile sprint.
Having the aerial picture again. Seeing that incredibly fast train. Off the peloton. Jake Lula always sticking out with that bright purple jersey, and UAE Net Company Ineos. EF Education, you can see, and also with the bright yellow jerseys, Team Vorarlberg. Being spread along that field.
Yeah, so got around 3k to go until the intermediate sprint. But it's interesting, it's actually at the top of a little climb. It's a 60 meter elevation, which doesn't sound like much, but you definitely feel it if you're a sprinter going for the points.
But so far we've seen not so many technical parts in it. Some pretty fast downhills with some... Oh, there we had an overbraking there. And coming into an hairpin.
Oh, it's a commentator's curse then. Yeah, also the final 3 kilometers of today's stage are pretty basic on a main road. There is a slight right-hander before the finish. So maybe if somebody could do a sneaky attack and get ahead, then that could be a opportunity to, if you're not the strongest sprinter, to try and get ahead of the group.
Here right now, the lady of the numbers there next to me, analyzing the stage, analyzing each and every ramp up and ramp down.
It's definitely a type of finish that I like, a turn before the finish line. Because then, if you're not a sprinter, you can just go for an early attack. And it quite often pays off. It could be a tactic today.
So when we talk about tactics, and you just said your tactic, what do you think is, or are the World Tour teams right now trying to direct to the riders, knowing that there's still a breakaway ahead for 4 minutes, if we can trust it or not, but still having that breakaway out there, but not making any moves so far here at the peloton, despite trying to push a little bit the throttle.
Yeah, I mean, the peloton is making inroads on the breakaway, but I have to say they're not catching them as quickly as I originally thought. So I think my 2 minutes at the finish line passage might be a bit... Yeah, I think it might be 3 now. Because they've still got around... I think it's around 10k until they get to the finish, into the final loop. So they pretty much pass the finish line, and then they've got a 38-kilometer loop roughly. So I mean, the tactics which will be coming from the DSs, from the cars behind, is just ride on the front, start closing this gap, and then they will start setting the fireworks off. I mean, there is a climb before the last climb, so maybe that's a chance for somebody to attack over the top and then bridge over to the breakaway. Maybe the breakaway will never properly get caught from the whole peloton. Maybe there'll be an attack from behind. They'll bridge to the breakaway and then go from there. So there are quite a few options there today.
But we will be happy with each and every option then in the finish area, because right now things are getting more and more tense, as you can see also in the peloton, because UAE and Net Company Ineos are always changing a little bit more. Little Trek is trying to position themselves in front of the peloton, and also Jaco Elula.
Yeah, and a lot of the GC riders will just be hiding in the peloton today, especially like maybe a Jan Christen or the big favourites will be aiming for the stage, but there will be also a lot who will just be thinking about their GC result and GC standing and looking at the stage tomorrow. Then they'll just be hiding in the peloton. And here we're going for the intermediate sprint, I think.
Probably, or it was just a little. No, it was.
It was.
The 75er.
It's a 75er sprint.
That bonus
Yes, the sprint, the intermediate sprint is coming in 6 kilometers, type thing.
The intermediate is coming at 149.7 kilometers. Then in Gamlitz at the finish, and then for the second time also at 188. Right now along that Slovenian border. On the oldest wine road, which was first mentioned at 1955. The Tour of Austria exists since 1946, and 1996 it was the first time for pro athletes to compete at the Tour of Austria. So also the slogan of the 75th edition is "We are celebrating history," and it is a perfect way to start that celebrations over those 5 days coming up.
Or maybe we could start celebrations with an Austrian win today.
That would be amazing for all the Austrians for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess there some of them are in the pictures, in the picture visible, have something against it.
Yep, I think quite a few people want to win today's stage.
But luckily it's not a deciding stage yet. It is a setting stage.
Yes. So 5 days, or 4 days after this of racing to come.
And with some huge mountains in it.
Yep. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's stage.
Oh yeah, that would be the
that's
king stage.
Yeah, there's got to be some good climbing there.
Up to the Glockner, to the Franz Josefs Höhe, as it is called. And here, probably that thing you predicted earlier.
Yeah, sneaky attack.
By Little Trek and one of Jaco and Lula.
Yeah. They would have had a meeting this morning or yesterday, and they would have talked through these type of scenarios. If a rider from this team attacks, then they've got to make sure that they go with them. So now you got a Little Tech rider and a Jaco rider. So those two teams in the peloton can say they're not going to ride. It's now down to the other teams.
UAE and Net Company. Ineos.
Yeah, so interesting they decided to attack on that little kicker when it isn't actually, or it's not a classified climb, it's just a little kicker. So maybe they're either just trying to increase the pace in the peloton and animate a little bit, or the Little Trek rider really does want to try and breach across to this breakaway. But I can see they're all together, so it's just too short, that climb. But they're obviously wanting to close this gap a little bit quicker now. Maybe they will get to the 2 minutes.
Maybe. We will see. 42, nearly 40k to go. And we've seen before we entered Gamlitz and we rode through Gamlitz and going straight towards that next sprint classification, coming up at, as we said before, 149.7k. Again, beautiful weather.
So that's strung the peloton out a lot, but it's all gonna roll together at the bottom of the climb. But that's, I think, maybe just a little taste of what's to come when we get into this finishing loop.
Now we are at the bottom of that next kicker, you said.
Yeah, so around 6k from the finish, so for the next intermediate sprint.
Three minutes and 38, the gap right now.
Da Jörg steht 500 Meter vom Ziel, müssen wir nachher ausfahren. Wo jetzt steht, müssen wir den Norbert, wo ist der Norbert? Der da muss.
So right now, iNews is taking over that leading role or leader's role ahead of Lidl Trek.
Yes, we're gonna pass through the finish line soon, and then it's a gradual climb up for around 6 kilometers. So it's not really a climb; it's just a roughly 1 to 2%. But then there is a climb, 1.7k at 7.1%, which isn't a categorized climb. That's coming in 9.8 kilometers roughly. But we've still got 24 kilometers to go to our KOM climb up Graz.
But also the gap is shrinking a bit, but not that fast as we hoped or we predicted. So
No.
they're still working strong together, those 4 athletes in front.
Yeah, definitely. But you saw there was one acceleration in the peloton, and we're already under 4 minutes. So that I think that one acceleration would reduce the gap by 40 seconds. But they are holding up quite well at the front with 40k to go. 4 riders. I mean, they'll be starting to feel their effort now, but they've just got to keep going.
You can feel the tension right now there. So it is a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of testing, a little bit of waiting, and trying for Net Company to keep everything under control.
Yeah, you can just see all the big teams are getting organized at the front. You got Gregor Mühlberger is also making his way up there because, I mean, we're coming into the last 40 kilometers. So now you need to make sure you're in position.
You also see Lidl Trek with Lennart Kemner, Patrick Conrad, then also Michi Gogel, the national champion, the Austrian national champion. Here, having that overview of the finish area, as you can see it or read it, especially known for excellent Sauvignon Blanc and idyllic wineries.
You should go there one day and try some wine
We should try that out.
in the off season. So we've got a question in the chats. Where is Poggy? You want to answer that one?
Riding the Tour de France.
Yes. So this is Little Tour of Austria, but it would be cool if he would do this race one day.
Yeah. He raced one day in Austria at a junior race.
All right.
Yeah. And also Wout van Aert also competed once at the Tour of Austria. So many of the big names.
Yeah. I mean, it's a springboard, really, isn't it? Look at Isaac Del Toro.
Yeah,
he
Isaac.
won this race
And
last year.
And this year he won a stage at the Tour de France.
Yeah. And is a helper for Poggy.
Yeah.
A very good helper for Poggy. So, yeah.
Also Felix Engelhardt, Jaco Elula.
Yeah.
Last year's incredible performance at the Tour of Austria. And now in the Tour de France, Jaco Rooster.
Yeah.
So
Now we're coming up to this intermediate sprint, so the riders will also be able to check out the in-run for the when it really comes down to the stage win.
that right-hander you said before. And here, look at that scenery here in Gamlitz in South Styria.
So looking at that, it actually isn't that twisty and turny. It was pretty much straightforward with 400 meters to go. So
Smooth one.
it's a smooth one. So if it comes down to a bunch sprint or a reduced bunch sprint, then
There will be plenty of plenty of space for
yeah.
the riders. So probably it is still a stage for the sprinter, but they just have to overcome that two comms
Yep.
or that one comm, especially 15k ahead of the finish area.
Yeah, you've still got 2 tough short climbs to overcome to get there, and if you can't hang on to the group on that KOM climb, then the chance of you coming back is very slim today, because you got the descent and then you got another little kicker with around 50 meters of elevation, and then it's pretty much downhill to the finish. So if you want to be up for the stage as a sprinter, you've got to make it over the climbs with the group.
Okay, regarding to the pictures, it's getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah. Definitely looks like it's getting hotter, and also incredibly important for them just to keep their core temperature down. Some of them, or quite a few of them, I think might be using a sensor to measure their body temperature, and it's just proven that if you overheat in a race, then bad things happen.
Loic Bettendorf for sure is fighting against overheating with that bottle over the head from Rinkov Advarix. 3 minutes and 18. It is getting tighter and tighter, but still not that 2 minute mark you mentioned before, or you predicted before.
No, I think the breakaway is going to need 2 minutes at the bottom of the KOM climb to have a chance. That's my new prediction.
Okay. So we keep that in mind and take another note. So 3 minutes. We had 10 minutes before, or at the early start of the race, a gap between that breakaway and the peloton. So right now they're really hammering it down. You can see that with again UAE, one of UAE in front, and then having Net Company.
So still the same 2 teams pulling, UAE and Ineos. Little Trek tried attacking. They're not really helping the chase, but they're just hanging on up there. But the peloton seems to be happy with the teams pulling. So
also having the Portuguese national champion in 6th position. I guess that was Antonio Morgado in the peloton.
I think we have 3 national road race champions in this Little Tour of Austria this year.
Yeah, we have the Swiss national champion, we have the Austrian national champion, and we have the...
No, the Swiss is under 23 with
Oh, okay.
Ginter. I'll just look for the statistics. 1 second. Oh, we do have Swiss.
Yeah.
Jan Christian, true, is
Yeah,
Swiss.
I said it
Sorry.
before.
Take that back.
No
Terribly
worries,
sorry.
all good.
But we also have the under 23. So we have both Swiss champions.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we have the Swiss, we have the Portuguese, and we have the Austrian.
Yeah.
And the under 23.
Yeah. And the under 23 with Samuel Novak in Tirol KTM.
True. So a lot of national championship jerseys.
Sorry, I was still on the Mauro Schmidt as a Swiss national champion. Yes, now the newly crowned Jan Christian. 2025 was Mauro Schmidt.
Yeah.
And he is racing the Tour at the moment, I think.
Okay. He's not just road race champion, Jan Christian, also time trial champion 2026 and the Alula Tour earlier this year and the Giro stage.
Yeah. Also another upcoming hope for the UAE team. So we've got 5k to go to the bottom of the Karneberg, 1.7k at 7.1%. So it's not a categorized climb, but still a climb.
Still a climb. Even though it's not categorized, it is a climb. It is a brutal one. It is probably also could be a deciding one. And as you can see here in the profile, 160k 33.8 are still waiting for them, and we're right now under 3 minute gap.
Yeah, so dropping under 3 minutes now. The breakaway somehow needs to try and hold the gap over 2 minutes to the bottom of the KOM climb. But it's going to be a tough task because the peloton's stretched out now.
Yeah.
When you see it in single file, especially at the front there, then you know that the pace is high in the peloton.
Goes man in the breakaway. Here we have him with the bib number Loic Bettendorf, 4th place at the National Championship Luxembourg. Here in the picture right now. Also the Tour of Hellas, first in the mountain classification, 64 in the general classification in the GC. So also capable of climbing. And then for sure having Mauro Brenner in it. Some pretty impressive results. Also, especially in the Youngsters Challenge. Also in the Vuelta Asturias. So those continental team riders are bringing some pressure into that Tour of Austria and especially towards the World Tour riders.
Yeah, I mean also this Nolde Tobias, he won the Kirchblüten race this year, a national race in Austria, and it's got a similar profile actually to today's, or to the last 30k of this race. Also with a climb that lasts around 5 minutes. I mean, this one will last a tiny bit longer, but he's obviously a punchy rider. He also won the Leonding race, the national race. Again, with a climb that's around 1.5k long. So depending how fresh he still is, he might somehow have a chance to stay out a bit longer than the others maybe.
But when you just have a little look onto the body language of those 4 athletes ahead, they're still looking pretty fine, pretty good. Remembering that they are in the break area for more than 100k then.
Yeah.
And having more than 1,000 meters of elevation gain already in their legs, and there's still some coming for them, but they're still looking fresh, having the time to chat a little bit with each other.
Yeah, they're looking okay, but I think they'll be suffering a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure, but still,
They're still out there though.
they're still out there. They're still trying to keep that gap open, 2 minutes and 46, but that peloton train is rolling hard.
Yeah. And the gap went out to 10 minutes, I think
Yeah.
it was today. But the peloton knew, with all the experience in the World Tour teams, they knew that if they then went onto the front for the last 50k, that they'll be able to slowly bring this group back.
Maybe there is Team Glossner from Benotti Berthold at the end of his strength in the legs, and also Loic Bettendorf is trying or having to let them go.
Yeah, so now we've got those 2 riders up front, Neudler Tobias and Brenner Mauro. I think those 2 were also looking the best. I'm a bit surprised that he's dropping off at the moment, because he did go for the 75.
Yeah, he was
points,
at the 75 and he was always battling with Nolde for the KOMs.
Yeah, but it's Neudler here setting the tempo, going up this climb. So this still isn't the KOM climb, this is Karnerberg, 1.7 kilometers long. So then there's a descent after this, around 3 kilometers. And then we've still got 10k to go to the start of the KOM climb.
So right now dropped from Group 1 Team Glossner, Benotti Berthold and Loic Bettendorf, Rinkhoff at Varix. So Nolde and Glossner up front, still having a gap of 2 minutes and 41. Team Vorarlberg one more time providing an excellent show here of that strong team. Having a stage win at the Upper Austrian Tour. Kilian Feuerstein at stage 3.
Yeah, Kilian Feuerstein also racing
Also
here today.
racing,
So I think it was a sprinter stage he won, but he also won the points classification in the Upper Austria Tour. So maybe if he can make it over the climbs, he could be interesting for the Conti teams.
There's still another strong lineup: Giacomo Ballabio, Kilian Feuerstein, Philipp Hofbauer, Dominik Röber, Tobias Nolde and Emanuel Zangerle at Team Vorarlberg. One of those 4 Austrian teams whom are responsible for bringing back the Tour of Austria again.
Yeah, so they've now just crested over the top of the Karnerberg, and they've still got 13k roughly to the bottom of the KOM climb. I said 2 minutes.
You said 2 minutes. I was just looking at the gap. So your predicted 2 minutes are, I guess, reachable.
No, I said that's what they needed to have a chance for the stage win.
Yeah, but still reachable.
They can't lose. Yeah, 13 seconds and it's flattish. So yeah, the power of the peloton, and there are only 2 riders now, so that's not going to help. But yeah, really good ride, really good show from them, and let's just see how long they'll stay out for.
Yeah, the cooperation is perfect between those two. Always changing the position. One is working, one is able to have a little bit of rest. You can see the Portuguese champion Antonio Morgado at the back wheel of Net Company.
Yeah, so Net Company have actually got 5 riders. 5 riders at the front. UAE with 3, and there's 1 further back around the J. Lula team.
Little Track also having 4, I guess. In front, also seeing Patrick Conrad there on the back wheel of his fellow teammate. First stage of the 75th Tour of Austria. And already quite interesting and a quite long stage. So far 3 hours and 42 minutes in the race. And having just 29 under 30k left for them. And right now it is stretching more and more.
Yeah, you can just look at the flags there. They've got a bit of tailwind, so that's going to be helping the breakaway. Just to see, they've still got 30k to ride with a 2-minute 14 gap, I think I saw last.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got 490 meters of climbing still to do. So
there's still a bit on the menu then.
yeah.
Oh, that was a tight one there.
So now they got this gradual false flat, probably averaging around 1%. And then they got a little descent, another 3k flat, and then we hit this, in my opinion, decisive KOM climb for today's stage.
1 minute 53. We are under 2 minutes.
I think it's going to be a bit tough now for these two.
Yeah.
It's just a question, what would have happened if there would have been maybe 8 riders in the break? Then things could have looked differently. Maybe they could have stayed out longer. They're still out there.
They're still out there. They're still out there and still having a gap of 1 minute and 53 seconds. But they still have that 26k to go, and they still have that last crucial and deciding uphill and last come. So here we have right now the peloton coming into that next beautiful village in South Styria.
So the next climb coming up is a category 2 climb. It's 2.2 kilometers. And on paper, if you just look at the statistics, 3.1k, 220 meters of elevation, an average gradient of 6.4%. It doesn't look too bad. But then when you look deeper into the profile, the first kilometer is relatively flat, only around 1%, which makes the rest of the climb steeper. And there's also a short descent in it. And the end of the climb maxes out at 21.8%. So it's a proper launch pad for an attack to go. And there are also points at the top of the Cat 2 climb. I'm not quite sure what the standings are at the moment, who's in the virtual KOM jersey, but otherwise we'll find that out.
We'll find that out for sure in the finish then, and we also will find out if those two still have it in them for that last KOM at Glanz. It is called, maxing out at 21.8%, and you said it nicely, it is a proper launch pad.
Like when it's super steep, you obviously haven't got any draft advantage, and then it's just a question who's got the most watts per kilos and who can then properly go over the top of the climb, because it doesn't go into a straight, it does go into a straight descent, but it flattens out then. So there's definitely a chance there for a group to go.
There we have Tim Glossner from Penotti Berthold team. Waiting to probably get caught by the peloton, and also there from Rinkhoff Advarix, Loic Bettendorf. Or maybe he's trying to close that gap again to Loic Bettendorf and probably work again together. But we are seeing the peloton right now there.
Yeah, the peloton is coming from behind, and they'll also start looking at the team cars, which were behind the breakaway, and they'll start pulling them out because the gap's under 1 minute 30, and they've still got 24k to go, so it's not looking promising for the breakaway.
That's what you said there. So I'm still fingers crossed for the breakaway. They still have 1 minute and 30, but as you can see here at the aerial perspective, they're lined up.
Still optimistic then. I mean, they're looking good. They're still looking good, but yeah, they've just been out for an incredibly long time today, and at some point it will catch up with them.
And they also probably can feel the breath of the peloton already. But for sure, always proper informed with any news or new standings out of the team cars, and also out of or from the jury next to them. But it's an incredibly high tempo by those two athletes in front.
Yeah, I think they're averaging, or the average of today's stage is still over 43 kilometers an hour, which is quite incredible. If you think about that, they've done 2,700, is it today?
In total, yeah, 2,700.
They've got 450 to go, so they've done 2,300 roughly of climbing, and they've averaged 43 kilometers an hour up until now.
Quite impressive so far from that breakaway, and still are able to keep that gap in 1 minute 30 over the last 2k, so nothing changed here.
So it's currently 24 degrees there apparently, so perfect race temperature with a bit of overcast, no sun. It's gonna obviously, that's another points to mention. If it's extremely sunny and they don't use sunscreen, then that's not good because then they'll be dehydrated. So in case somebody forgot their sunscreen today, then they'll be lucky because the sun isn't shining.
There are some small little things to pay attention to it, because that's also something new to me. I heard that if you don't use any sun cream, then
Yes. Very bad for you.
okay.
Especially in the stage race. If you get burnt the first day, then the recovery is not good.
Okay. Good to know. UAE chatting with a net company, iNeos. There's always one of UAE in front there.
We've also got the EF Education train coming up. Maybe riding for Niels and Paulus today. Also Mühlberger, you can see there, making his way up to the front. He's also got pretty much all of his teammates surrounding him.
Yeah, the Austrian national team is somewhere up front to find. Overall winner of the CBU Cycling Tour, Gregor Mühlberger 2020. Then multiple national road champion, Coppa Sabatini, second place in 2024, and an outstanding domestique at the Giro, you said, for Felix Gall. There we are. Nearly having filled that profile with that red color. There's a bit of a white space in it, but if you look at that profile, it is not so comfortable white space there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 5k to go now to the bottom of the Glanz climb.
We are under a minute gap.
Yes. I mean, it would be cool if they could make it to the bottom or to the KOM points, because then I think Nolde Tobias could have a chance of getting into the mountain classification jersey.
Into the dotted jersey. Yeah, we've seen him always trying to go for the KOMs earlier in the stage. That would be perfect for him to grab that last KOM.
Yeah, so there were 8, 6 and 4 points to grab at the top of this KOM of a Cat 2 climb. At the beginning of the day, around 50k, we had a Cat 3 where there were only 6, 4 and 2. And then we had the Kreuzeck KOM points. So there are three KOM chances for today's stage.
Finish sign in 20k. So still way to go, and now they see 1 minute and 10 gap to the peloton. Look how stretched out that peloton is right now. Also, for sure, it is a downhill section, but all those World Tour teams are in front to find.
Yeah, and the KOM climb, there's a right-hand turn they have to take to get onto the road. So there'll definitely be a bit of position fighting to get up or get into the right position for the climb. Because when it's super steep, and it is super steep, then you've got this effect where the peloton at the front extremely quick, but then it starts, or the riders at the back, if the road's really narrow, then it gets extremely, or you can't move anywhere. Like, it's really slow then. So if you want to attack or be in any kind of position to break away, then you have to be in the top 10, 15 positions.
So J.K. Lula is next to Net Company, and we're back with that long breakaway of Nolde and Brenner, two Germans, one from rad-net and the other one from Team Vorarlberg.
Yeah, and just checking the course here, it's a single file lane like we've got here, so it's quite narrow. And then when we get to the top of the climb, it goes onto a main road. So, yeah, definitely you got to be in the front. Because it is 2.2k, but they will be riding up this climb probably the 7 minutes or 6 minutes.
Amelie, we remember all of those numbers you said.
Yes.
7 minutes. And here you can see that, as you said, rolling hills, but they probably found the steepest one in whole South Styria to go over with the peloton, and for sure also to go over with that 130 riders strong competition field. And you can also see right now here the peloton and up front the two riders in the breakaway. 17k, 30 seconds just left.
30 seconds. Yeah, so the peloton have timed this pretty much perfectly. Catch them.
That is that KOM Glance 4.14k in average 6.4% and maxing out to 21.8%.
Yeah, and now they're taking out the cars because you know you can't have cars in between these two groups, and you got the peloton. They're all doing a lead out into this climb, so yeah, you need to have a clear road ahead.
It would be lovely to see the number of that UAE rider in front, because last year we have kind of a similar pictures over the complete Tour of Austria, and here we're having that issue of Tobias Nolde dropping from Mauro Brenner. Mauro Brenner still trying to keep that gap open, still trying to keep those precious seconds between him and that train which is coming towards them. Tobias Nolde always looking back over his shoulder, and yeah, I guess it is now that time of the race where that incredibly strong and incredible long breakaway of those right now two riders, Nolde and Mauro, comes to an end, because there they are.
Yeah, I mean, incredible ride from those two, or from all four breakaway riders today. You can see Brenner and Mauro just trying to maybe get to the top of this climb before the peloton comes, but I think they're just around the corner.
Oh, there we have an attack coming.
Yep.
Trying 1, 2, 3.
I think that's a little trek, is it?
Yeah, that's Little Trek. That is, I guess, EF Education.
And UAE.
And UAE.
Yep.
And UAE probably with...
So there you go.
Antonio Morgado. Could be.
That was the end of our breakaway today. But I think that looks like Niels and Paulus, could that be?
J.K. Lula also.
No Ineos at the moment in this front group, or they will all just. No. I think they'll be waiting for the climb to really ramp up.
J.K. Lula in the lead, followed by Net Company, followed by UAE, and followed by Little Trek, having a little gap already.
I mean, incredible pace they're riding here. They're just sprinting up this climb, but it's 230 meters of climbing they're doing. And they're just sprinting up it. But they've still got the steep parts to come.
And also that little downhill section.
And it was an acceleration by Nielsen Paulus before, so he's obviously feeling good from EF Education. I think that might be pool double on the front here. And Carlos Rodriguez in his wheel. And also Gregor Mühlberger, you can see there, with that turquoise helmet from the Austrian national team.
Carlos Rodriguez finished second overall at the Tour of Austria.
And you just see Gogol Michael at the back of the group, is now no longer in the shot, the Austrian national champion.
So having here ball double in front of
And we've got an acceleration from the UAE rider.
It is Arietta.
And another acceleration by pool double. So he's just trying to, maybe trying to go solo or just trying to reduce this bunch as much as possible. And he's doing an incredibly good job at that at the moment because, I mean, what are there? 15 riders left at the front, 15 to 20 riders.
Yeah, not more. No. Not more.
And here we can see the steep sections. And lots of people out to cheer on these riders. So
here they are. That's huge of a breakaway group there with Paul Double in front. Then we have Vanden Vingyat from UAE. Then we have with the 41 Rodriguez.
One rider I haven't seen yet is Jan Christen, actually. He either hasn't been in the shot yet or is doing an incredibly good job of hiding away in the peloton. But we are coming to the crest of the climb right now for the KOM points.
Which goes to JQ Lula, which goes to Paul Double. And now they are not pulling out.
So there's a group of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 riders. So if these now work well together, it will be a sprint between these 8 riders.
So we have 2 of Lidl Trek, we have 2 of Net Company Ineos, we have 2 of JQ Lula, 1 of UAE, and 1 of the Austrian national team in that breakaway. And there's another attack by, I guess it is Carlos Rodriguez.
Yeah, so they can now play the perfect team tactic. Ineos Net Company can attack, and then they have to, and then all the other riders have to chase them down. And they've got 3 riders in this group, and have 2 just joined from the back.
12 right now, 12 in the breakaway. And look at that gap they already have here.
Yeah, that was an incredible
that was
effort.
amazing.
Then. I think mainly Paul Double was setting that tempo on that climb. But we still have Gregor Mühlberger in this group from the Austrian national team.
So his main goal or his main mission is for sure to win that race, to win that GC, and we know he's for sure capable of doing it.
And Gogol Michael has managed.
Mickey Gogol is here.
Make it back. And one rider from, I think, was this the group behind?
No, that's the leading group.
Then Günther Niklas from Tirol KTM Cycling has also made this group. The under-23 Swiss champion, riding for Tirol KTM Cycling. So that's an incredible ride for him to make it as a Conti rider, alongside all these
pros. Alongside these World Tour riders here. The replay again of the KOM up to Glantz with Paul Double from JQ Lula, followed by UAE, followed by, I guess, Net Company Inears, and here we have that huge breakaway group again with for sure some decent climbers in it and some sprinters, probably capable for sure also in that deciding last sprint there. 207, the 211. Mühlberger right now, little Trek is pulling.
I mean, incredible that Michael Gogol has managed to make it back onto this group, because he could then maybe be quite a favourite for this sprint. He obviously did a good sprint in the national road race to win the title.
From Alpecin Premier Tech. It is the first time today we've seen something from Alpecin Premier Tech here.
Yes.
And
true.
with bringing Gogol into that breakaway, perfect position for that team, and also perfect position for the Austrian. And having two Austrians in the breakaway is something to look at. Little Trek right now.
Yeah, so a very strong rider. We've got 2 riders from Little Trek in this break, or is it 3?
Oh, we have 2, 1, 2. It is, here we have with 41.
But yeah, incredible ride from that Niklas Günther to make it into this very, very select group of pros. Maybe he could be a rider that would, depending...
Oh, he is glued to the back wheel here from Tiro KTM.
So that was now a good attack from the Little Trek rider. He's got teammates. They will let the wheel go, and it's down to all the others in this group to start chasing this gap back down.
So now it is a back and forth. It is a testing, 11.6k to go. We are in that last 15k, and those last 15ks are still having some hilly parts in it, but 80 to 90% of it.
Yeah, so we've got around 2k to go of this hilly terrain, and then we've got the descent down. It's around...
To Gamlitz again.
It's like a 6k descent, and then it's a 4k flat ride. So we've got attack from Gregor Mühlberger, I think, on the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah, Gregor Mühlberger is on for an attack, and there is no
that's an incredibly strong attack. Yep.
There is no counter-attack by the breakaway.
Nobody went straight with him, so all he has to do
is keep it. Heads down and go for it. Gregor Mühlberger riding probably with a bit of a broken heart here, but...
yeah, but he did all the preparation he could, so he's going to be here in top shape. And, I mean, that was a really good attack there. Nobody went with him. And so, yeah, there's only 11k to go to the finish, and 6 of them are a descent.
From the national team. He is, probably the highest ranked Austrian in that field.
Especially when it comes down to GC contenders for this little Tour of Austria. And we've got some riders which have tried to make the jump, and it is...
It is Jaco Elula, and it is...
Number 6, is that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Kevin Vermerke.
So that was Gregor Mühlberger out front, followed by Pudabo from the Jaco Elula team, I think, and the UAE rider Kevin
Vermerke, that won. Those 2 trying to close the gap to Mühlberger. Here probably we can have another glimpse. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but Gregor Mühlberger,
double.
I mean, incredible attack to get away and now also build this big gap out towards these two. Because in the peloton, the reduced group behind, Little Trek and Ineos Net Company have to do this chase.
So Kevin Vermeerke from the United States having a third overall at the Arctic Race of Norway, 23 and 24. Winner of the Lille Bastion on Lille under 23, so also some body for the GC here.
So it looks like Gregor Mühlberger's got a 14-second gap to the Michael Gogel and Carlos Rodriguez group. And Kevin Vermeerke and Paul Double have got 10 seconds.
Paul Double right now ranked in 103rd position of the PCS rank, and he is the big Jayco's GC card. And here we have the replay of the attack from Gregor Mühlberger. He used that momentum, he probably used that glimpse of I see unsureness in that breakaway.
Yeah, I saw him riding at the back before with Michael Gogel, and I was like, okay, either he's not feeling great or he is planning an attack, and he just timed it perfectly. Came from behind, sucked himself onto the back of the group, and that just catapults you a bit. But
yeah, they just got overruled by the Jay's group here. So Double and Vermeerke are back in that big Jay's group, and here you can see Gregor Mühlberger having a couple of meters, a couple of seconds air between him and that chasing group's 8.1k still to go to the finish, and still having some little uphill terrain before we step right into that downhill. We're already near that downhill at the start of the downhill, so
yeah, so we're at the start of the downhill now. It looks like it averages around 6%, so I mean it's good for Gregor Mühlberger. But then there's a tiny kicker left, so maybe another attack opportunity of around 40 meters of climbing before it heads into the final 3 kilometers of this stage. But we have, in the group behind, we have 3 little Trek riders.
We have 3 from the Net Company.
3 from Net Company and UAE and Jayco Lula. So
and Tirol KTM.
Yes, but he won't be riding on the front. He will just be glad he's in that group, and will try and hang on. And maybe if he's got anything left in the end, he'll go for an early attack. But he won't be doing any of this chasing of Gregor Mühlberger. It's all down to Ineos, Little Trek,
and Jayco. Alpecin Premier Tech with Michi Gogel, also still part of that Chase group. Nobody else from the national team, which probably is a bit of a disadvantage for Mühlberger here, because there's nobody in it to try to slow them a bit down or to play the tactical card then for the last 6.4k, which also is a huge task for him to keep that all the way straight into the finish line, knowing that behind him are 9 people working strongly together to catch him again.
Yeah, and in the group behind, you've got multiple teammates from Little Trek and Ineos Net Company, so they're obviously going to have a good cooperation. Maybe they'll both pull one rider out and say, no, you don't ride on the front, you save your energy for the sprint, but they're not going to sprint for second, so they need to catch Gregor Mühlberger, and it looks like he's got an 18-second gap at the moment. But we have 2 riders from Ineos, 2 riders from Trek, 2 riders from Jayco, and 2 riders from UAE. And then we have
Alpecin Premier Tech with Michi Gogel.
And Tirol Cycling.
And Tirol Cycling, yeah, those are the chasers.
And you can actually see Günther quite far to the front of this group. I mean, it's a great sign for him, and he's obviously feeling good. But I mean, he doesn't need to ride. He doesn't need to chase his gap down. But 20 seconds.
20 seconds, 22 seconds of a gap.
I was just asking. Yeah, 15, not 50. I'm sure he would have liked to have 50 then.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Having
Yeah.
50 seconds there. But unfortunately, that's just the 21 seconds here written on the top of the screen. Also, Andrea Baioli is in that chase.
Yeah, so all the GC contenders that we picked out before are pretty much in this
Are
group.
in it.
Except Jan Christen.
Jan Christen. Except him, he's not.
So we've got another 1.5k of this descent, and then there's a short kicker, and then we've got 3k to go then. So he just needs to put his head down and not look back. It says 1 second, but I don't think that's right.
No, that's
Definitely, but it's definitely not a big gap.
no, it's not a big gap. They can see him. Here we have Bauke Mollema from Lidl Trek. We're having a little coffee there and enjoying the finest road cycling action at the 75th Tour of Austria. That's a pretty narrow place.
Yeah, that's now coming into the final kicker of this race. I think it was around 40 meters of climbing. But then if he makes it over that and he's still got 15 seconds, I reckon that he can make it to the finish.
Okay. So he needs to get over that little kicker with an advantage of 15 plus seconds. Still, we have 19 seconds gap between him and the peloton. 2.4k are still to go. But that's all tension is building up. Tension is building up for sure. Here, the chasers are kind of unsure what to do there. Normally, it would be a perfect place to start a counterattack then, or to start to catch him.
Yeah, I think that was Ineos Net Company on the front there, setting a high pace. But I mean, it looks like Gregor Mühlberger's made it over the top of this final kicker, and we are heading into the last 2 kilometers.
Not yet done.
No, not yet done.
There's a little ramp waiting for him. And also Andrew August was seen there at the
Yeah,
end.
and that's Paul Double, is it, again, off the front? Showing it. I mean, he's got incredible climbing legs he's showing today.
So 16 seconds. And he's not done yet with that climb.
I don't think that was a smile. I think that was a grimace then from Gregor Mühlberger. So there's a
Rodriguez
4-man group.
was here in the second chase group. Then we have that new leading group with...
Yeah, so they can see Gregor Mühlberger, Paul Doubles in this group.
There's Michi Gogel in this group. There is Kevin Vermeijke in this group. And there's also Andrea Baioli from Lidl Trek in that first chase group. They're having a little gap right now of approximately 50 to 60 meters here.
Yeah.
So 10 seconds are still left for Mühlberger to bring that
But there's only
stage home.
1.2, 1.3 kilometers to go. And it's a bit of a twisty run in.
Flamme Rouge. Here we have Flamme Rouge. The last K is on. And we can remember a little bit to last year's first stage with Felix Großschartner also having probably the same script. Then here we have right now the last deciding kilometer for Gregor Mühlberger there to
Yeah, now this big group's coming back together, and I think it's looking incredibly good for Gregor Mühlberger. If
Yeah.
those four could have stayed away, then maybe they could have worked really well together, but I think the group's now
Wow,
is
that's
too big.
500 meters. That is the first stage win, probably for the Austrian, probably for a little heartbroken, but hopefully in the end, smiling Gregor Mühlberger with a huge gap here, and that is an incredible, strong performance. He used that momentum on a point to come here to secure that first stage win. He is here for winning the Tour of Austria and setting an incredible example here at the first stage.
That was really good, and he made a statement this morning saying that he's here to win, and that was just an incredible ride.
UAE in second position. So that was an incredible ride. That was also an incredible tactical stage here. Stage number 1, 188k, 2,000 plus meters in elevation gain. And you said it on a little side sentence. It would be amazing having an Austrian winner of that first stage of the 75th Tour of Austria.
And just showing his experience, I think, there in the group, coming from behind, leaving a little gap to the group, and then just going full gas over that climb. And although there was a group behind with lots of riders who had teammates in it, or little trek double UAE, but yeah, incredible ride from Gregor Mühlberger.
Incredible by Gregor Mühlberger. What a ride, what, and perfectly fine executed master plan at that kicker we said before. He used that momentum, and here we have him, Gregor Mühlberger. After being left out at the Tour de France, here starting into the jersey of the Austrian national team, securing the first stage win.
Yep.
Amazing, incredible performance, and also just have to keep in mind that incredible performance by that 4 people strong breakaway, over 80% of the whole stage.
Yeah, definitely, but also from Nicolas Günther from Tyrol KTM Cycling. I mean, incredible ride to stay in that group. He didn't quite make it into the top 10, unfortunately, but I don't think that really matters because he was in that group in the end.
So Kevin Vermeerke in second, Hector Alvarez in third position, Bauke Mollema in fourth position, Andrea Bagnoli fifth, Michi Gogel, the next Austrian, in sixth position, Finlay Pickernick seventh position, Paul Dorbel 8, Carlos Rodriguez in 9, and again Andrew August back in the top 10 here at the Tour of Austria. So UAE, Lidl, Alpecin, Premier Tech, Jayco Elula and Nat Company Ineos. Those are the top 10 after stage number 1. And a beautiful scenery, a beautiful planned stage 1 here with lots of punchy uphills, kickers in it, and a beautiful finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful vineyards, really nice rolling hills, and then we're going into the big mountains tomorrow with a mountain top finish.
Mountain top finish, a little glimpse what is happening tomorrow. Bad Kleinkirchheim from Carinthia up to the Großglockner, and another 188k, 2,914 meters in elevation gain. It is the Queen Stage, it is the Großglockner Summit finish. Still enjoying that pictures from Gamlitz, and here we have the end results: Mühlberger, Vermeerke, Alvarez, Mollema, Baioli, Gogel, Pickering, Dobbel, Rodriguez in August.
and 11 seconds lead. Although no, there are bonus seconds.
There's the bonus seconds because it is a sprint classification.
Yep, so stage finish time bonus is 10 seconds, 6 seconds and 4 seconds. So his overall lead is 15 seconds.
15-second overall lead. And the next interesting thing, having that GC jersey tomorrow over his shoulders. When it comes back to a pretty memorable stage for him, because he was the youngest Glockner King 2015. So
I think he already mentioned is looking forward to the stage tomorrow.
yeah.
And tomorrow's definitely going to be a GC day. We might see another breakaway with some Ponty riders. But yeah, incredible stage actually. Very interesting final.
Very interesting final, you said. So, and I have to admit your predictions were pretty accurate today. So you said when he gets over with a 15-second lead, he will make it. And he made it.
Yep.
Here the replay. Winning on home turf for the Austrian.
Yeah, it must also be a special feeling for him to be able to have his own chance in a race to go for the stage win and actually be able to win the stage. Because obviously he was the helper for Felix Gall in the Giro d'Italia, where he did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And now today he got his own chance to go and grab the stage win.
So, and probably tomorrow Team Austria will be there to protect.
Yeah, they got a big job on their hand, yeah.
They got a whole lot of responsibility there to keep him in that GC jersey. It is the 75th edition. I said it before, I will say it many times again here. It is history and it is an incredible start for all the athletes here, 130 in the rooster, and big names are competing one more time here in Austria and probably enjoying a bit of that. Gregor Mühlberger here in the interview.
Gregor Mühlberger, congratulations, won the victory. How are you feeling right now?
I've like that pretty much everywhere. Now I feel super happy. I mean, the team did an amazing job. It was the first day that we rode together, and yeah, it's just a big honor to ride in this jersey and to represent Austria on this stage race.
Can we expect the same attack tomorrow?
If I feel super strong like today, I might go a bit later, or I will try it. But yeah, as you saw, there is not much time between me and the next guys. So yeah, it will be a super tough race up the Großglockner tomorrow.
Wie war heute die Stimmung im Feld?
Super gut. Also ich meine, mit meinen Jungs da, wir sind gleich von Beginn an eine super Position gefahren. Ich habe mich mega geschont, ich habe die beste Unterstützung gehabt, sei es Getränke, Gels und so weiter. Big Shoutout an die Jungs. War einfach super, die erste Etappe mit ihnen so zu bestreiten und dann noch so abzuschließen.
Wie fühlt sich das jetzt an, zu wissen, es hat dir keiner nachfahren können?
Ich bin mir noch nicht sicher, ob es nicht können war oder ob es ein kurzes gegenseitiges Anschauen war. Ja, ich bin jetzt einmal mega happy. Wie gesagt, ich bin sehr tief gegangen, war dann doch bis zur Ziellinie länger als gedacht. Und jetzt heißt es einfach bestmöglich regenerieren und dann voller Fokus auf die nächsten Tage.
Alles Gute für morgen.
Danke.
So to sum up that interview, more than happy, full focus to tomorrow's Queen stage, and if he feels strong, and we heard it, he is up to something special again there. So
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a contender for tomorrow's stage again. We've got a long stage, 188 kilometers with 2,914 meters of elevation gain, and all of that elevation gain pretty much comes at the end of the race. So we've got 2 climbs at the end, one with 800 meters of climbing and one with just over 500 meters, but there's only a short descent of 1 kilometer between them, so it's pretty much 1,300 meters.
it's a complete mountain stage coming up tomorrow, up to the Glockner. For us, tomorrow, nearly same time, same station, and enjoying one more time the replay of the chasers coming into the finish area. And I would like to say thank you for joining me again in that Tour of Austria 2026, and thanks for streaming in or tuning in to enjoy that action.
And hopefully see you all tomorrow.
That's for sure. Hopefully see you all guys then tomorrow.